Good morning, Gateway Church. Don't know what kind of week you've had, but I've been just thinking of a few things this week. And unfortunately, we're all becoming familiar and to some degree or other conditioned by the environment, which has now been known as social distancing. It's reckoned that it takes on average 100 days to form a new habit or change a behaviour. Don't know about you, but I do get concerned about the long-term effects to some that this may be having by keeping what's known as a safe distance from people. I see lots of children being shielded and protected from close contact with anyone. As the schools return this coming next week, we do need to be prayerful about these things. I'm reading a book today titled Beautiful Resistance by Jon Tyson. And it's about, in a time of compromise and disillusionment, God is calling his people to a movement of beautiful resistance. And I'm sure you'd agree, we do need to become resistant to the culture that is becoming increasingly more shallow, coarse and empty, with radical shifts in the area of sexuality, ethics, technology, secular ideologies and religion. As I was reading the book, just a couple of words stood out to me in one of the chapters, and it said, distance creates fear. During these challenging times, I believe we all need to be aware and on our guard of the potential impact that the conditions and environment that we find ourselves in at this time. Our need for close friendships and Christian fellowship is so important. So let's certainly not become distant from the Lord and from one another. In 1 John 4:18 it says, "There is no fear in love, but perfect love casts out fear, because fear involves torment. But he who fears has not been made perfect in love." We'll be meeting again this afternoon at Grace Ministries for our small gathering, and today we'll be breaking bread together. Please get in touch this week if you'd like to join us next week. Today's service, Lorraine's going to read from John chapter 5 and verses 1 to 8. And then we have the second part of the teaching by our guest speaker, Roger London, on unpacking the Great Commission, winning converts or making disciples. God bless you today and throughout this week, and enjoy today's service.
Good morning. The reading this morning is from the book of John, chapter 15, verse 1 to 8, and I'm reading from the New Living Translation. I am the true grapevine, and my Father is the gardener. He cuts off every branch of mine that doesn't produce fruit, and he prunes the branches that do bear fruit so that they will produce even more. You have already been pruned and purified by the message I have given you. Remain in me, and I will remain in you. For a branch cannot produce fruit if it is severed from the vine, and you cannot be fruitful unless you remain in me. Yes, I am the vine, you are the branches. Those who remain in me and I in them will produce much fruit. For apart from me, you can do nothing. Anyone who does not remain in me is thrown away like a useless branch and withers. Such branches are gathered into a pile to be burned. But if you remain in me and my words remain in you, you may ask for anything you want and it will be granted. When you produce much fruit, you are my true disciples. This brings great glory to my Father. Amen.